Mesdames et Messieurs,
ladies and gentlemen, delegates, once again, I'd like to welcome you to this plenary session, the 8th session of the 113th session of the International Labour Conference. This morning we will continue the general discussion on the reports of the Chairman of the Governing Body and of the Director General. I will therefore start by giving the floor to the first speaker on the list, which is Mr. Antoniou, Employee Delegate from Cyprus. You have the floor, sir.
Dear Chairperson, on behalf of the Cyprus Employers and Industrialists Federation, I wish to congratulate the Director General and his office for this year's report titled Jobs, Rights and Growth, Reinforcing the Connection. Although we are currently in the process of evaluating the report's findings and recommendations, we agree with the Director General's remark that the rapid pace of technological development and diffusion will create new challenges and uncertainty in the coming years, but also has the potential to spur productivity growth and economic development. Discussing the impact of technology on employment and what to do about it is nothing new. This conversation was made at length years ago when nearly identical concerns were raised regarding the impact of computers. It would be very difficult at the time to predict the groundbreaking impact computers and the Internet would ultimately have on productivity, research, innovation, or international trade. But it is true that almost every single area of economic activity has benefited from technological evolution, and instead of mass unemployment, it has helped lift billions out of poverty. Adapting to technological change has always been a key success factor, and countries with strategic policies for technological development have had better outcomes than those without such policies. Speaking of change, we all bear witness to a tariff standoff between major global economic actors. The mere threat of a trade war is enough to send markets crashing, disrupt supply chains, and create inflationary pressures. This uncertainty makes businesses reluctant to invest, with negative impact on economic growth and job creation. Mr. Director General, considering recent events, we wish to call upon the ILO to reaffirm multilateralism and defend trade as a driver of growth and decent work. Evolutionary theory states that it is not the most intellectual or strongest that survives, but the one that best adapts to a changing environment. In a world where stability cannot be taken for granted and where the future is unavoidably technology-bound, businesses, workers and institutions must adapt and reform or be left behind. In Cyprus, social partners are engaged in discussions to reform the cost of living allowance, widely known as COLA, a mechanism for wage indexation that ties salaries to inflation. In his report, the Director General emphasises that economic growth is a key means of ensuring more jobs, better incomes and a reduction in inequalities. We share this view, yet COLA does not align wages with either economic growth or productivity. On the contrary, it remains disconnected from economic reality and has been proven to fuel inflation and undermine competitiveness. It is definitely not a coincidence that nearly all developed economies that once operated similar systems have abolished them. Furthermore, demographic shifts and serious labour shortages challenge the long-term viability of our pension system. We need to reform our pensions framework to encourage an increased role for provident funds, retirement funds and individual savings. Relying on the first pillar alone will not be enough to maintain the quality of life we want for our senior citizens. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, change is inevitable, but choosing to adapt to change is optional. Artificial intelligence and new technologies have the capability of propelling mankind to a new era of prosperity, but only if stakeholders accept the need to change and reform outdated arrangements and practices. The Cyprus Employers and Industrialists Federation will work together with our social partners for a resilient, sustainable and bright future. Thank you for your attention.
Merci, Monsieur Antonio, délégué.
Thank you, Mr. Antonio, employers delegate from Cyprus.